Let's begin with a simple question. Why are the Aravalli Hills so much more than just a scenic backdrop to Delhi and Rajasthan? Picture a nearly 2 billion-year-old mountain range. Yes, 2 billion. Stretching 650 kilometers across northwestern India, forming a natural shield between the lush Indo-Gangetic plains and the encroaching Thar Desert. Now, you might be thinking, aren't these just heaps of rock? Far from it. The Aravallis act as an ecological barrier, a kind of living wall that arrests desertification. In technical terms, they prevent the eastward spread of the Thar Desert that's aridification, the process by which fertile land turns into desert, held at bay. But their role doesn't end there. These mountains are also a groundwater recharge zone. Imagine sponges under the ground, soaking up monsoon rains and replenishing aquifers below. Without them, water tables would plummet, and rivers like the Chambal and Sabarmati could dwindle. Let me tell you a story. In Haryana, where Aravalli ridges have been leveled for construction, residents have witnessed falling water levels and hotter summers. Coincidence? Not likely. The science is clear: lose the Aravallis, and you risk dust storms, droughts, even local climate collapse. In short, the Aravallis are far more than old rocks. They're the lungs, the water tanks, and the climate guardians of northern India. Now, let's dig into the heart of the conflict: mining. The Aravallis are rich in minerals: marble, granite, lead, even tungsten. Historically, mining's been a major economic activity, but over the last 4 decades, extraction has exploded, with both legal and illegal mining chipping away at the hills. Ask yourself, what happens when economic interests clash with environmental limits? We get environmental degradation, deforestation, and aquifer depletion, to use 2 technical terms on a massive scale. Illegal quarries scar the ridges, stone crushers spew dust, and with every truckload of sand, air quality worsens, and groundwater recharge declines. Now you might be wondering, if it's so damaging, why hasn't it been stopped? That's the challenge. Mining brings jobs and revenue, but unchecked, it undermines the very land people depend on. The Supreme Court has called out India's international obligations under the UN Convention to Combat Desertification, stressing that protecting the Aravallis isn't just local policy, it's a global commitment. Here's a thought experiment. Imagine the hills stripped bare, the groundwater gone. What price economic gain when it leads to dust storms and failed crops? This sets the stage for the legal and regulatory battles to come. Let's zoom in on the legal front. Since the 1992, the Environment Ministry has set rules limiting mining, yet violations have been rampant, forcing the Supreme Court to step in several times. In 2009, there was a total ban in certain Haryana districts. Fast forward to 2024, and the court halted the grant of all new mining leases across the Aravallis, pending scientific review. But here's the kicker. How do you protect something when states can't even agree what it is? That's where the concept of a uniform definition comes in. Until now, states and agencies use different criteria, some focused on slope, others on buffer zones or valley width. Imagine trying to guard a treasure, but no one agrees where the borders are. So, the court established a high-level committee, including the Forest Survey of India and Geological Survey experts, to create a scientifically robust, all-India definition. This is what lawyers call demarcation, a technical term for drawing clear boundaries. Here's where it gets tricky. The final definition includes only hills above 100 meters. Critics say this is too narrow, risking fragmentation. Supporters argue it's more inclusive than older, patchier definitions. The result? A landmark consensus, not perfect, but a vital step to uniform protection and better management. So, what's next? Enter the Central Empowered Committee, or CEC, a body tasked with turning legal orders into actionable plans. Their first step: a complete scientific mapping of the Aravalli Range. That means satellite imagery, ground surveys, and GIS, geographic information systems, to chart every ridge and valley. But mapping is just the beginning. The CEC recommended a macro-level environmental impact assessment, which, in plain English, means looking at cumulative effects of mining, not just isolated projects. Think of it like assessing the health of a whole forest, not just individual trees. The plan also calls for strict bans on mining in ecologically sensitive areas, protected habitats, water bodies, tiger corridors, and crucial aquifer recharge zones. Stone crushing units face heavy regulation, and mining is paused until all mapping and impact studies are complete. Let me ask you, can we achieve economic growth without trashing our ecosystems? The CEC believes yes, but only with robust management and restoration, another technical term, meaning to bring back damaged areas to health. All these steps lay the groundwork for a management plan for sustainable mining, a blueprint for the range's future. You might be expecting a dramatic finale, total ban on mining, gates locked, hills saved. But here's where reality intrudes. The Supreme Court chose a smarter, calibrated approach. Why? Blanket bans, history shows, often backfire, spawning illegal syndicates, sand mafias, and unmonitored destruction. Instead, here's the compromise. Existing legal mining continues but under strict scrutiny. All new leases and renewals paused until the management plan is done. Sensitive ecological zones remain off-limits forever, a model of what's called zoning, or dividing land for specific uses. Let's think this through. Would you rather have transparent, regulated oversight, or push the trade underground? The court's answer is clear: regulation is more effective than prohibition. Government initiatives like the Aravalli Green Wall project, launched in June 2025, aim to restore degraded land and expand green cover. Imagine a 5-kilometer buffer of trees and grassland ringing the hills, soaking up carbon and restoring biodiversity. That's landscape-scale restoration at work. So, while the story isn't over, the message is: protecting the Aravallis demands science, law, and smart policy, not